Hi, welcome to Yoga for Old Guys. I'm Kurt Bowman. Today we're going to do about a 45-minute general all-around yoga workout. If you're joining again, thank you. If this is your first time, I appreciate it, and I hope you get value from this. So let's start off in a comfortable seated position. As a reminder, that might be with your legs out in front of you. Comfortable being you can sit up as tall as you're able. Get the sits bones ground into the floor. And now just for a moment shut your eyes. Rest your wrists and hands on your knees or thighs. Focus now on bringing your spine tall and long, neck and head centered up over your spine. Draw a deep breath in through your nostrils. Exhale through your nostrils. Time, focus on filling your abdomen with air, pushing it out as you breathe in. With your eyes still closed, bring your focus, your mental focus now into now. Your body is present. Let's bring our minds into the present as well. Forget about the days past or what you think you have to do later. Just bring everything right into this focused practice. Open your eyes. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, twist to the right. Remember to twist with your shoulders, then your torso, then your eyes. Don't deceive yourself by twisting with your eyes in your head. Breathe into that twist. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, twisting to the left. With your legs crossed in front of you. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward at the waist. Allow your head and your neck to hang. You feel your lumbar growing taller, stretching out. Inhale, just let your fingers crawl along the floor in front of you. And now crawl them over your left knee. Straight out in front, arms are straight out in front of you. Walk them back to center. Let your neck hang. And walk them over to the right, out past your right knee. Slide them back to center. Come back up to seated. Switch the cross of your legs. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Walk this time first to the right, your fingers.
center. And over to the left again now. And back to center.
Come up to seated. Let's come up to a tabletop, hands and knees. Always remembering to bring your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. Everything about shoulder width apart. Inhale, drop your pelvis and your spine, your lumbar, head and neck up into cow. Exhale,
roll into cat. Push those shoulder blades away from the floor. Inhale
into cow.
Exhale into cat.
One more time into cow. And the last time now up into cat. Come into neutral spine. Curl your toes down under and
come into the first down dog of the day. Go ahead and pedal out the calves and ankles a little bit. Limber up the feet. If your heels don't hit the floor in the back, that's fine, but focus on having your glutes pointed to that line in the ceiling where the ceiling meets the wall. And walk your hands back to your feet. Come into a forward fold. Let everything hang. Head, neck, slight bend in the knees. Just for now, just hang. Don't worry about your legs straight yet. Feel a slight stretch in your hamstrings. Roll one vertebrae at a time.
Come up to stand, mountain pose. Remembering to turn your palms out and intentionally dropping your shoulders back and down away from your ears. Now roll the palms a little bit further open. Exaggerate. Almost turn them outward. Give those shoulders a stretch. Can you pinch your shoulder blades together just a little bit? Okay, come back in the mountain. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. This time, knees are a little bit straighter, legs are a little bit straighter. Still a forward fold. Walk your fingers out. You're coming into a high plank. Right leg, three-legged dog. And bring your right foot up to your right thumb. Drop your left knee and come into a lunge. Now just allow your pelvis drop straight down. Inhale, left arm overhead. Bring your left hand to the mat and twist your right arm up to the ceiling. Check your knee. Your right knee should be tracking forward. Remember to twist with your torso. Bring your right hand back down to the mat. Come up to a high plank. Downward dog. Left leg, three-legged dog. And bring your left foot up. Drop your back knee and come up into a lunge. First move now is just to let gravity sink that pelvis. Right arm, inhale overhead. Drop your right hand to the mat and twist to your left with your left arm up overhead. Open the chest. Left hand down to the mat, high plank, downward facing dog. Take a breath through your nostrils. Once the practice starts, if at all possible, breathe in and out all the time through your nostrils. Now walk your feet up 1 foot at a time up to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Halfway lift to a straight back. Forward fold. And roll up to mountain pose. Palms facing forward. Let's begin a Series A. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, high plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg, three-legged dog. Bring your right foot forward, drop your back foot, come into warrior one. First warrior of the day. Check your knee. Can you see your first two toes? Tracking forward. Are your hips pointed as forward as they're going to get? Squared up. Arms back into airplane. Arms come into about a 45-degree angle. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg, three-legged dog. Left foot forward, drop the back foot and come into warrior one. Square up the hips. Check the toes. Are you pushing your shoulders into your ears? If you are, drop your arms a little bit. Doesn't do any good to have them that high. Come into airplane arms. Hands to the mat, high plank. Inhale or exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your feet up to the front. Forward fold. Roll up to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, high plank, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog.
Exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg, three-legged dog. Bring right foot forward. Keep your back foot up, heel up, and come into airplane arms. The start of a crescent lunge. Inhale, arms overhead, crescent lunge. Is the back leg straight? If you need an accommodation to get started, go ahead and drop that back knee. Hands to the mat. High plank, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath. Left leg, three-legged dog.
Left foot forward, right heel is up, airplane arms, come into the start of crescent lunge. The body, your right heel up through your shoulders, should be a line. Inhale, arms overhead to crescent lunge. Square everything to the front. Come into high plank, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog.
Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to your feet. Come into forward fold. Now just walk your hands back out to high plank and walk your feet up to the front of your mat.
Inhale, halfway lifted.
Exhale, forward fold and roll up
to mountain pose. Exaggerate those shoulders back and down. Shoulder blades together. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, high plank, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog.
Exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg, three-legged dog.
Right foot forward. Drop the back foot for warrior two. Check your front heel. Is it kind of in line with the middle of your back foot? For some, you might want to bring the back foot out a little. In this case, forward a little. If you're looking for a little bit more stability, drop your back hand, raise your forward hand for a back bend. Remember to breathe into now that right side. Come forward, drop the elbow to the knee, and bring your left arm overhead. Put your back against that proverbial wall. Head is flat against that wall. There's a line between your fingertips and your heel. A straight line. Come back up into warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Lean forward, bending at the waist. Drop your right hand as low as you're able to not jam up your lumbar, keeping your heart open, and come into triangle. Left arm is overhead, back is flat, neck is flat. Warrior two. Bring your hands to the mat in front. Right leg back, high plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look between your hands. Step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, forward fold. Hang it out a minute. Let your head and neck come into relaxed. And now roll slowly up into mountain. Shoulders back and down. Take a complete full breath through your nose. Exhale. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lifted. Come into high plank. Lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg, three-legged dog. Right foot forward. Plant the left hand, your back leg is up, and raise your right hand for a twist to the right. Hands back down to the mat. Drop the left knee. Back toes pointed back. Come into a crescent lunge, but your back knee is down. Drop your right arm and bring your left elbow over onto your right knee and come into a prayer twist to the right. Just breathe into that lumbar sacrum of the spine, lowest portion. You feel that open up. Inhale, arms overhead, hands to the mat. Come into high plank, downward facing dog. Left leg, three-legged dog. Left foot forward. Come into crescent lunge. Arms are out in front of you. Drop your back knee. Plant your right hand and twist to the left. Left arm is above your head. Hands down to the mat. Come up into a kneeling crescent lunge. Drop your left arm and hook your right elbow to left knee and come into a kneeling prayer twist to the left. Relax that lower spine. Let it pop. Hands down to the mat. Come into a high plank. Lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog.
Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, forward fold. And roll
Up into mountain pose. Take a full breath in. Let it out. Another cleansing breath in. And out through your nose. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, sit back into chair. Now you might want to kind of bring your feet together, walk them together, let your knees touch. Can you come down another ½ inch in the chair? When you're doing chair, you want to, when you get lower, it is by lowering your glutes, not bending at the waist. Hands to heart center. Come into a prayer twist to the right. Inhale into chair. Prayer twist to the left. Hooking your right elbow to your left knee. Check your knees. One is going to want to pull forward. Bring your hips into square. Come into forward fold. Roll right where you're at up to mountain and swing your right foot out 3 or 4 feet. Both sets of toes are pointed forward, hands on your hips, and just simply bend forward at the waist, and now allow your hands to fall to the mat. Allow your neck and head to hang. I'm going to inch my feet a little further away from each other and get my palms, bring your palms if you're able flat to the floor. Inch your fingers toward your left foot. Legs are straight. Breathe into what might be a pull through your hamstring. For me, this feels especially good today. I tweaked my left hamstring yesterday in another type of workout. And bring your hands back to center, hang. Walk them back behind you, underneath your legs, way back. Now walk your fingers to the right toes. Right leg is straight, left leg is straight.
Straighten up both legs as much as you're able and breathe into what might be a pull. Remember, if you're feeling pain anytime, stop. You've gone too far. Not here to feel pain. Stretching is okay. A little bit of challenge is okay, but pain is not okay. Come back to hands at the center. Walk them back behind you and hang. Hands on your waist, and
come back up to standing. Bring those feet together. Walk them out a little bit if necessary. And let's ground into the right foot. Get all four corners of that right foot on the floor. Ground it in well. And simply raise your left toes out in front of you, about 6 inches or so. Keep your back straight, head is high. If you are having to lean forward, your toes are too high. If they're out and half an inch off the floor, but you're balancing on one foot, that's fine if as long as your back is straight. But if you are balancing by leaning forward, just adjust, keep the back straight. One leg is all that counts. We're not here for looks. Bring your left knee up in front of you, straight out, and left feet, both feet on the floor. Walk it out. Ground your left foot into the floor. And right toes out in front of you, 6 inches. Check your back. For me, my left is better than my right. I don't know that either is good, but everybody seems to have one that's better than another. And the day will matter. Bring your right knee out in front of you. And now both feet to the floor. Walk it out. Okay, inhale, arms overhead. Come up onto your tippy toes. Can you stand another 1/8 of an inch taller? Bring your hands to heart center. You're up on your toes. How low can you start to come down? Is it an inch? Fine. 2 inches? If you can come all the way down to a squat and stay up on your toes, great. Better yet, you're still balancing no matter where you're at. And let's stand up all the way, hands overhead, and come into feet on the floor, walk it out. One more balance. Ground your right foot back into the floor. Kickstand your left foot out next to your right ankle. We're going to come into tree. Remember, the fullest expression is to pull that left foot up, inside thigh, perpendicular, but I bring mine up to the calf. Bring your left foot up, wherever, but do not put it against your right knee. That is never good. Keep
side pressure off the knees. Focus on something that isn't moving. And left foot back on the ground. Walk it out. Ground your left leg or your left foot. All four corners in. Kickstand your right foot and come into tree. Find that non-moving space. Are your hips opening? And come into standing. Okay. Let us drop down into tabletop. Once in tabletop, curl your toes down and come into a down dog. Right leg, three-legged dog. Bring your right knee up by your right thumb, right wrist. We're going to do pigeon. This, for me, is the best of hip openers. Remember, you can bring your, in this case, your right shin as far forward as you're able, but if you can get it to 90 degrees, great, but don't tweak, don't twist your knee. The thing here is the hips. Take your left toes and walk them, push your left leg straight back. As far away from your body as you can get it. Allow your pelvis now just to sink straight down. Don't roll. You might think, oh, it feels good to roll to the right or left. Boy, that if I roll it, that's great. Nope. Just drop it straight down. Straight down. If you're able, bring your hands behind your back and you're coming into what's called the King Cobra now. If not, just keep your hands, fingers on the mat and roll everything forward as much as you're able. Whether that's your forearms on the floor, your fingers maybe are still on the floor, you're not to that point, or if you can bring your forehead down to the floor, just do that. No matter what, no matter where you're at, your focus is on the pelvis, dropping straight down. You feel that hip opening up? If you need some more, focus on pushing your back toes away from the body. Go ahead and start walking your fingers back up. You're into almost seated. Curl your left toes under. Come into three-legged, right leg, three-legged dog. Shake that right leg out. Downward facing dog. Left leg, three-legged dog. Left knee up by your left hand. Point the right leg and toes away from the body. Let the pelvis drop. Just, if you do nothing more with this pigeon right now, just let the pelvis drop. I always already feel this in my left glute and hip. and start walking your hands forward as far as you're able. Maybe your forehead's on the ground. No matter what, your focus is on gravity right now. Go ahead and start walking your hands back up. Curl your right toes under and come into the left leg, three-legged dog, while shaking that left leg out. Pedal both feet out now in three-legged dog. Ears cracked too. Yep. Okay. Come into high plank. And now just drop down onto your forearms for a traditional plank. In the traditional plank, whether it's high or low, is your neck straight, eyes looking down, your spine is straight, everything is straight from your head down to your ankles. You don't want to go up or down. This is a great ab workout. Come up to high plank. Drop your knees. Knees apart, big toes together, and push back into child's pose. Walk your fingers away from your body. Let your head and neck drop. Come up into tabletop and transition into seated. A little bit more left on the core. Ground your sits bones in. Heels are touching, knees are up, and raise your legs into boat. Is your back straight? If you're able, bring your arms straight out in front of you. Straighten your left leg, leaving your right bent. Switch. Right is straight, left is bent. Switch, left straight. Switch, right straight. Bring both of them out straight. Focus on your back, neck, all in a line. Arms are out in front of you. And come in. Lay back onto your back and bring your knees up into your chest. Pull them up. While holding your right knee to your chest, let your left leg go out straight onto the floor. Switch, pull your right knee or your left knee in. Right leg goes out onto the floor. And both feet on the floor. Knees up. You're lying back. take your right leg up over the left. Lift up your hips, bring them to the right an inch or two, and allow your knees to drop over to the left, bringing your right arm out to a T. Don't fight the twist. Let everything twist to the left, keeping your right shoulder down. Relax your lower back and let it just be open. Come back up, both feet on the floor, left leg over right, hips up and to the left an inch or two, and drop your knees to the right. When you're in this twist, keep your shoulders as flat to the floor as you're able. You might come off a little bit, but you're better off keeping your shoulders down and sacrificing a little bit of distance on the twist. Because obviously if you let everything roll to one side, you're not going to have a twist. I think that's called the fetal position. Okay, knees back up. Feet flat on the floor. One more time. Pull your knees into your chest. This time bring your head and neck up to meet your knees. Roll into that ball. Maybe rock a little bit. Give the back a little bit of a massage. And come out flat. Feet mat width apart. Let your arms fall to the ground. Palms are up. And everything is into final Shavasana. Let your feet fall out, away from each other. Roll everything, just let gravity take over. Start to wake up your fingers and toes. Your feet up a little bit and roll over to your right side. As gently as you're able, go ahead and come up to seated. Comfortable seated position. One last time sitting up straight, but more relaxed maybe than the start. A little bit, I hope a little bit more limber than when you started, stretched out. I hope you found value in this practice, and I thank you for taking the time. Bring your hands to heart center. Drop your chin in gratitude for the opportunity to practice. And to you I say namaste. Thank you again for joining. If you find value in these videos, I hope that you would do me a favor and hit like and share. And as always, if you have any suggestions or want to see anything in particular, email me directly at yogaforoldguys gmail.com. I'm Kurt Bowman, and thanks again.